The intersection at West Curly Corners Road and Route 9G is terrible. It has a blinking yellow light, but it still feels dangerous. Cars come speeding down from Hudson or up from Red Hook, and if you want to make a left like I was on Friday to go to the gym, then you better have a car with good pickup or a lot of patience to wait for a gap. It was quiet today, though, the morning after Thanksgiving, so I didn't have to wait long to pull forward. For some reason, though, I forgot to turn left, and I went straight ahead on Broadway, maybe out of habit, towards the village of Tivoli. It took me a few seconds to realize it, but, I was in no rush. I was starting to look for a place to turn around and thought, wait, what if this is actually a good idea? What if this is an opportunity to go down a street I've never gone down before? I vaguely remember a street that cuts through. And what if this is a chance to go down it and see how it connects back out to Route 9G? Maybe it was the holiday music I had on Sirius XM. Maybe it was my good mood after Thanksgiving and having a day free to myself. I was also excited to listen to Dolly Parton's America podcast, which Brian had raved about, and I had queued up ready to go at the gym. I wanted to learn all about Jolene. I keep driving, and sure enough, less than a quarter mile up is a street sign for Clay Hill Road. Now, we live on White Clay Hill, a creek that runs all the way out here and into the Hudson further west, so I feel a kinship for this road. I turn left and drive down it, seeing farmhouses I hadn't seen before, a neighborhood I never wandered through, and to my luck, a deer standing by the road, also astonished I have not been here before. Hello. Eventually, I see a dead end sign, so I turn left and past another house, a field, and a few ranches, and there I was, back at Route 9G, no worse for the wear. That was kind of fun. For a few minutes, I was just a little lost, a little clueless, and frankly, a little excited to be. Now I know this other place nearby, an outsider, increasingly on the inside. In my hometown, for just a moment, I was a Cidiot. I'm Matt Zucker, and this is Cidiot, learning to live and love life in the Hudson Valley. Episode 9, Uncharted Territory. Dutchess County is sort of a road I never turned down. I grew up in the New York area in Springfield, in northern New Jersey, a revolutionary town, actually. We had a battle. Growing up, I got to know Westchester, New York, and Fairfield County in Connecticut. There was also Orange County further north. My friend Allie from summer camp lived in Monroe. The Berkshires I also knew. My friend Beth had a weekend place there, and she'd go skiing there. Long Island was a mystery, except for Great Neck and the North Shore. But Dutchess and Columbia counties, where were they? I think it's about the comfort of consistency. We all get into habits wherever we live. There are farm stands we don't stop at, not because they wouldn't be interesting or delicious, but because we're so loyal to the few we always go to. There are Rotary Club barbecues and firehouse pancake breakfasts advertised on signs that we joke about going to, but we don't. With all my food allergies and intolerances, I can't experiment with foods the way some people can. One wrong turn and it's a bad stomach or a bad attack met with misery and Benadryl. But what I can do is slow down and take in a new view, or if I'm tempted, pull over to take a picture. I can turn corners. For example, there's County Route 4 that I don't think I've ever gone down, or streets with names like 10 Neighbors Road, and there are probably just 8 houses. I need to check. And there are stores and restaurants to visit. For example, there's Charlie O's in the village, kind of a pub in a converted movie theater, which Brian has zero interest in going into. I keep planning on going when I'm up here alone one night, but I forget and make myself dinner instead. The shame, though, are things that are rare or special. The Katsabon International Dance Center is right here in our village, and we've seen absolutely nothing there in 5 years, which is ridiculous. The Red Hook Society for the Apprehension and Detention of Horse Thieves started in 1796. What a great name, right? It still has an annual meeting. How have I not attended one yet? There are symbols all around. On Route 199 at the break between Rhinebeck and Red Hook, there's a fork in the road. Literally, a fork in the road. Artist Steven Schreiber put a giant 20-foot fork sculpture there. It's a stunning sight, a reminder, and it might just say it all. Winter really lays it all bare. The leaves gone, you can see into yards and past farms. The unknown can become the known. We can see around corners. Admittedly, it's also hunting season, so wandering off on foot somewhere new may not be the smartest idea. Wear orange. Brian bought us orange shoulder vests to put on top of our coats. I look ridiculous, but I can wander anywhere fearlessly in it. And wherever you go, there's usually a story behind whatever you see. For example, if you drive past the town of Taconic on the Parkway, most of us think of the big public park open in the summer. But if you read The Hidden History of Columbia County by Alison Marquez, you can learn about the anti-rent war of 1844. And up at the town of Valatie, I also learned about Harry Houdini filming a movie and A Great Escape. And Martin Van Buren, the 8th president of the United States from Kinderhook, named the town of Austerlitz after his hero, Napoleon. I've also been reading Tivoli, The Making of a Community. I learned about the village's early years as a mill town, about the Baron Livingston, the early fire department that DePaster named after himself, Civil War stories, and Tivoli finally being incorporated with the village of Madeline in 1872. The first constables were paid $1 for every arrest and conviction. That's history with incentive. To me, the mundane can be profound. Taking an Uber from last month from the train station, I chatted up the driver, Teresa. We passed the historic Elmendorf Inn, and she asked me if I was going to the dinner there. Thinking that she meant the Elmendorf annual gala, I said, well, I wasn't sure. Brian thought it was pretty pricey, and at that she interrupted. Wait, $5 is too much? I thought it was more than that, I said. It took a few minutes of back and forth to realize that she was telling me about a gay potluck that weekend, not the fancy gala 2 weeks later. Good thing I asked, because it got us invited, and we met 40-plus people, including a few new potential friends. As they say, there's what you know, what you don't know, and what you don't even know you don't know. I thought that Dolly Parton's America podcast would be just about her and her music, and I would eventually get around to it. But it turned out to be an amazing story of a woman in America, about murder ballads that came across from England, about feminism, and how Dolly says she's not, or maybe she is. Now I can't stop telling people to listen. Uncharted territory is the frontier of wherever you normally stop. The poet Wallace Stevens said, "It is the unknown that excites the ardor of scholars, who, in the known alone, would shrivel up with boredom." Being a Cidiot means being new and adapting, despite how long it takes or how silly you look trying. The truth is, you don't even have to come visit to be one. Just for a few minutes, you too could take a left turn at a street sign you've wondered about, but never acted on. And ever so briefly, you could be a Cidiot wherever you are. Good luck. Thanks for listening to Cidiot. Cidiot is recorded and produced in New York's Hudson Valley, just a few hundred yards from a sheep farm, a goat farm, and an apple orchard, which is pretty ironic considering the host's allergies. Director of Public Relations is Nora Ephron, who reminds you to visit Cidiot.com for gear, to join the Cidiot Facebook group at facebook.com/CidiotLife, and to rate us in the Apple Podcast Store. It helps people discover us. I'm Matt Zucker.